Hi, this is Ed Harrow, Chair of the Open Space Preservation Commission, just giving you a exciting report of our last meeting. We covered a rather wide range of stuff. First, we had for about 40 minutes a presentation from Freddie Gillespie. Freddie is the chair of the Southborough Open Space Preservation Commission and is very, very involved in pollinator-friendly plantings and gardens, etc., working with a guy named Robert Giguere, who's a prof at UMass Dartmouth, studying bumblebees, of which, if recollection serves, we have 17 still in existence in Massachusetts, used to have 19. And for the trivia freaks amongst us, bumblebees are classified in a number of ways, one of which is by their tongue length, which is important to the flowers that they want to pollinate. So if the right flower for the wrong tongue is not there, things don't happen. And we talked a little bit about working together, trying to get a I mean, this is a little bit out of our purview, but try to get several of these surrounding towns together with respects to invasive plant control, of which both she and Open Space here have some experience. Freddie on a much bigger area over on Breakneck Hill in Southborough. And it's a huge problem to resolve, and we've got invasives all over town. We've got bittersweet growing up the driveway to Elmwood School. If you drive down Wood Street towards Westboro before you get to Rocky Woods, there's bittersweet growing up through the pine trees. There is Barbary behind the Woodville fire station. I won't say acres of it, but lots of it. Nasty bad stuff. What did I work on this weekend? Not in Hopkinton, elsewhere. Multiflora rose and bittersweet. It's a huge problem that we really need to try to figure out how we can possibly do something about it. So that was that. We had an Eagle Scout project request to do some benches, probably in Cameron Woods is a likely spot, and we approved that. We're still trying to get our act together to get a presence on the internet, and it's a slow and difficult, but one of these days we'll get there. Then up again was Cameron Woods on the survey project. One of the things that has really become apparent in my tenure, both on Concom and Open Space, is not the best at marking boundaries and buffer zones, et cetera, that are supposed to be done. And so we're trying to get ahead of the game, and we have marked on getting into the process of surveying the Cameron Woods property. And there's a lot of it. And our discussion primarily was one of the typical survey marks, believe it or not, are holes in rocks. They drill a hole in the rock. And sometimes that rock is on a stone wall, which wouldn't seem to be a very permanent mark. But their question was, are we accepting of having holes drilled in our rocks? And the answer was absolutely. And then issues on Winter Street. Hopefully, we have that under control. We will see. I will make another check in a couple of weeks to see how that looks. The really exciting stuff is land acquisition, and we have the commission voted unanimously to put data into. We've had placeholders on the town meeting warrant, hoping that we'd have some property to buy, and we have things perking along on one, And so we had to put some data into those placeholders. So we have done that. There's some other properties that we've been looking at, and the owner has spoken positively. We still have some lines to cross and T's to dot, et cetera, on that. Whitehall Conservation Area, one of the things we're trying to do is get pictures. So if anybody that watches this happens to get out on some open space property in town and take some pictures, if you could send them into Shannon at Town Hall, we'd love it. And who knows, maybe you'll get a gold star or something for your efforts. The next, and this was a long and complicated sort of discussion. The Hughes property off of Hayden Row Street, which comes out by Chestnut Street at the traffic lights there. There is, I don't know, 7, 8 pieces of town property that are all in that area. Some are owned by Concom. I use own in quotes. Some are owned by the select board. Some are owned by open space, and a land trust here in town suggested that, you know, that open space should watch over all of it in its entity. And it's a little bit complicated because the legislation that started Hopkinton Open Space Preservation Commission, and a little stroke here, this was the first in the state, the Hopkinton Open Space Preservation Commission. And it says that open space can get property from all kinds of places with one notable exception, and that's Conservation Commission. So Conservation Commission cannot give or sell property that they own to open space. So one of our questions is, can they give oversight of their property, management of their property? And we're not really even sure what that entails at this point. In other words, if someone said to me, well, what do you mean by management? And I have to say, well, I really don't know at this point. It just seems that it makes sense to have one party sort of being responsible for oversight of these multiple pieces of basically open space land. And then that's almost it. I'm just checking my agenda. One of the things that we've started to do, again, a suggestion from another party, was to keep better track of our communications, who we write to, who we talk to, etc. So we're keeping a log. And again, Shannon Soares, our absolutely astoundingly able assistant, hey, 3 days in a row, AAA, is the person who's doing that, provided, of course, that we, the members, remember to advise her. So if someone emails me and I mail them back a response, then it obviously it's important that I copy Shannon so that it gets into the log. So that was pretty much it. We had, for people watching us, we had Mike Bolson was there. Oh, almost forgot. So we have an agreement with Mike Bolson to do some, I'm going to use the term mowing at the Whitehall Conservation Area meadow, and that he's gonna, there's three times he's gonna go in. The first time to try to reduce the brush pile that the Trails Club produced when they did some work in there last month. They left a big, and I am not complaining, they left a big pile, and then he will mow it twice, and the date, one is before the 15th of May, and then the other, I forget the exact date, but I think it's in September that he'll do a second go through. And I think that's it. Okay, so if you sat through this whole thing and watched me go on, thank you. If you got any questions, you can reach me in the phone book. Give me a call. Love to chat. And that'll do it for today. Thank you.